Weighing in, Fights and Films.
Welcome to Weighing in, Fights and Films. I am Brett the Threat with my cousin and co-host,
Jenny Rose. And today we are going to review the fight film, sort of, Foxcatcher.
more of a wrestling movie.
It's a wrestling movie, but that's also not entirely the focus. It's a bit of a dark and grim tale.
Yes.
So, it's based on a true story of John DuPont. And
Crazy John DuPont.
Eccentric, yes. And Team Foxcatcher. USA Wrestling. And the murder of David Schultz.
Dave Schultz.
Dave Schultz. The brothers are Mark and David Schultz, and it's David that gets murdered, correct?
Yes.
Kept that straight?
The elder brother, yes.
Yes. It's felt like a prolonged investigation discovery show to me.
I thought the movie was really good. I didn't know anything about the whole DuPont story until I saw this movie, and then I saw the documentary.
Right.
But based on just the movie, I thought the movie was really, really good. You see like how like Mark is a little crazy like in the beginning when he's got like that bruise on his face and he's looking in the mirror and he's just like touching his bruise and he's getting literally friggin' intense, and then later on he smashes his head into like a mirror and stuff. Like it shows like
that's Channing Tatum's character, by the way.
Yeah.
And that mirror smashing was he got so into the scene that he did that, and that's real, and that cut on his forehead resulting from it is real.
ah,
Yeah.
look at that.
So
That's intense.
I enjoyed it in that it got the feeling it wanted from me. You know what I mean?
You gotta explain that.
Okay, I'll explain.
It got the feeling that it wanted from you.
Yes. As in, I felt creeped out by DuPont, so it
Okay.
succeeded there. I felt the kind of like angst and trying to find his way out of someone's shadow of Mark Schultz. You know, he's out in the shadow
The little
of his brother.
yeah.
He's in the shadow of DuPont. And I felt really weird and awkward in a lot of the interactions between the characters, and that's what they think they were going for, so it succeeded in that. I guess that's a better way to put it, is that it succeeded in getting the emotion from me of, oh, I'm uneasy. So,
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
For a movie to do that, that's awesome.
Yeah. I do have a few, like, the one thing's, like, I think Steve Carell, who plays DuPont, I think he nailed the part. He
Oh my
nailed
God,
the
yes.
character.
Absolutely.
And I think Mark Ruffalo and Channing Tatum did okay, but I think you could definitely tell where it was forced, the persona of a wrestler. Like Mark Ruffalo went a little too old man in his wrestler persona. Channing Tatum went a little too apish with his wrestler persona.
I did think he kind of like...
They overdid it.
Yeah.
But at the same point, I don't think that's the easiest of things to portray, because you figure out what makes a wrestler move and walk the way they do, because a lot of wrestlers do move differently and walk differently, is years and years and hours of training that they have that hunch
hunched
because
over, going for the takedown.
They're always doing this stuff, and a lot of them do have that turn in because they're so tight in these muscles that it's pulling their arms in. So they do have that, but it's built up over time and it's natural. Whereas you could tell with Mark Ruffalo and Channing Tatum that they've done 5 months of training and they were trying to make it look like they've done 20 years of wrestling.
Interesting.
That's the one thing with me, is I could
That's kinda cool.
I could tell that right away. But I've worked with wrestling teams. I was a medic for one in college for my clinical hours. And I know there's a lot of wrestlers that come to MMA, so I see it in its natural state.
But I think Steve Carell stole the movie.
He did.
By far.
Oh yeah, I felt uneasy. Every scene DuPont was in, I was like, oh.
How do you weigh in on it?
I give it 4 punches.
I'll give it 4 punches as well.
Yeah, I did. Like I said, it succeeded in getting those emotions out of me. It succeeded in making me feel uncomfortable. It's brought down by, like I said, like the forced wrestling stature and stance and everything, but I do say that that's probably a hard one to take on.
Right, and as creepy and crazy as DuPont is, what Steve Carell is, the speech that Carell gives when he's talking to Mark about, I had a friend once, and you find out the friend was someone his mother was paying him to hang out with, and it's like, it breaks your heart, you feel pity for him, but even though he's like a monster, you know what I mean?
So even this insane person, because he did go to prison, he died in prison, the actual DuPont character.
Yeah.
But you really feel pity for him. You're like, you do get emotionally invested in a weird way, like, oh, you poor soul.
You can see it on your face how it's still affecting you just talking about it.
Oh no, yeah, this was a movie I watched when it came out. And I did not watch it again until this past week to do this review for our fight movie playlist. And Not because it was a bad movie, but because this movie creeps me out a little.
That's a sign of really great filmmaking when it evokes that emotion in you like that. And you can still feel it long after you've seen it. That's how we weigh in on, what was it, Team Foxcatcher?
No, Foxcatcher.
Just Foxcatcher.
Foxcatcher. The documentary is called Team Foxcatcher, and we will be reviewing that also, so be sure to check that out.
Yes, and if you're torn between which one you want to watch, I would say watch the documentary.
Well, don't give that away.
But I'm just saying, there's a lot more to this story.
Oh yeah, there is. Be sure to follow our other video because we're gonna go over the documentary and there's more. You can support this YouTube channel, Weighing In Fights and Films, by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Let us know what you thought of the movie Foxcatcher and the whole story and how it represented the story. Movies that are based on true events. How true did it stick to? Yeah.
Are you a wrestler? Do you have a hunch?
A hunch that the movie is going to be weird. Yes.
And don't forget to support her MMA fight career by buying her merchandise with the link below. And like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.